All right, we're continuing with our focus on mental health show here on Brant Life. It's Mental Health Week coming up May 2nd to 9. And we're joined by Carling Mitchell from Skillful Start. Carling, nice to have you here on Brant Life today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's been very interesting over the last number of years here on Rogers. We've done quite a lot focused on mental health because of its extreme importance and just even just the simple importance of talking about it is not nothing. It's actually really honestly something. Yes. And so over this time, we've had all kinds of different people from different areas of mental health, both awareness and different aspects of it. One of the neat things that we're going to talk about today with you is the proactive nature of mental health teaching, and especially with kids. How did you and why did you take this road and this approach?
Sure. Well, Skillful Start was actually founded 1 year ago, and it was in the midst of a pandemic when a new group or a gap was identified to me as being very much in need. So we have always had tremendous mental health services in our community, and we have a very big identified group of young people who are in need. But what the pandemic showed me is that there is another group, and that was the group that had not yet been identified. This was the children and families who were looking for support, who were looking for answers. How do I help my young person cope with a crisis like this? How do I help my young person who now is all of a sudden experiencing anxiety or depression or just an overwhelming sadness, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help them. And so this is where Skillful Start came. I wanted to help fill that gap of children and families and accessible resources to build and nurture skillful, supportive mental health and wellness skills.
I love that. I love hearing stories of people inside communities that are able to actually identify problems and go, there are solutions to these problems. And one of the things I love about this is that I'm a parent, and I've got 3 teenagers now, but I've talked with parents with all different ages of kids that all had similar concerns of when this all hit, going, hey, I'm noticing something different in my son, my daughter. I'm noticing this rising up. And sometimes you have the ability to be able to go, yeah, I can identify it and I can bring solutions. And there are other times where people are at a loss and go, what do I do? So what do they do?
Yes. So children are naturally resilient. And I believe that if we can nurture this resilience, if we can build supportive, healthy skills, that we can help them learn to cope, to adapt, to persevere, and ultimately to thrive in the face of crisis. And what we know is that crisis happens. Outside of a pandemic, young people experience so much challenge, so much adversity. And so regardless of that, we as parents and a community can do our part, can do our best to set them up for success despite all of that. So Skillful Start has created a kit, a starter kit essentially, to do this work at home. We focus on what I believe is sort of the foundation of resilience and mental wellness in young people. So we look at mindfulness, we look at a growth mindset, we look at gratitude, we look at positive self-talk or self-esteem, we look at adaptive coping skills, so positive ways of coping with stress or with challenge, and we look at emotion recognition and regulation.
Let's talk about the positive self-talk. Like in my other world, I'm a pastor of a church, and I've done stuff with youth over the years, and all the kind of, and the positive self-talk and positive self-image. I mean, it's a crusher. It's a crusher for kids. For kids, I think it's younger and younger. The positive self-talk and positive self-image. It's teenagers. It can be really crushing. During the pandemic, I gotta believe it was a huge issue. Talk about the positive self-talk thing. What can we do to be able to actually get our kids actively doing this.
Yeah. So one of the things that we have put into our kits, and one of the things that I suggest to parents all the time in terms of what you can do at home, is something called affirmations. So affirmations are statements of positivity, things that I am good at, things that I can do, things that I, place value in, things like that. And what we know is that when we continue to hear things and we continue to say things, that we can start to believe it. So we can either choose to allow negative talk into our lives, or we can focus on the more positive. So as parents, if we can encourage that positive from an early age, we use it, we say it about ourselves, we encourage them to say it, that they can start to believe that, and it can start to build that self-esteem. And then their natural self-talk, their natural voice starts to speak to them that way, starts to answer to them in that way. So one of the things we have, as I say, is affirmations. And so these are cards with 3 affirmations. And what we do at our home is that I select one, I have 2 daughters. My daughters will select one, and we will start our day with those affirmations. In the car, on the way to school, we're reciting them. At dinner, before bed, we're talking about that. We're filling the cup at bedtime about all the things that we are not only grateful for, but that we're good at, that we believe in ourselves, things like that. And it can really just help to sort of start that in their brains, where that's how they speak to themselves. That's how they see themselves.
Now, as a Gen Xer who grew up watching Stuart Smalley on Saturday Night Live, Al Franken being Stuart Smalley with his daily affirmations, where he look at himself and he goes, "I'm good enough, smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." And it was done over the top, and it was done almost as satire. But there's a group, I'm in the Gen X jaded-y, oh, this is ridiculous. But here's the deal: is that now I'm a parent, and now I see the ripples that it went into my own adult life, because I probably didn't do it when I was young.
Yes.
And one of the things that you mentioned, the reason I bring this up, is about adults of parents or of kids as well, because so often some of these things are projections of what we feel about ourselves, right? Yes. And we project it onto kids, and so it's got to be just as important for our kids' mental health is our mental health as well.
Absolutely. And as parents, one of our biggest focuses needs to be the fact that we are role models. We are role modeling all the time. Everything that we do, they're watching and they're seeing. So if we're speaking poorly about ourselves, if we're speaking poorly about others, they see that, they hear that. And so even though we might say really nice things to them, they're seeing and hearing all the other stuff that we're doing when we don't even know that they're paying attention. So if we can role model skillful and healthy behaviors, proactive skill sets, communication, connection, if we can connect with them, then those are the skill sets that they also start to learn, and that's what they'll build on.
So important. A couple minutes left. You order the kit from Skillful Start. What does a kit look like?
So a kit is an actual box. It's a white box, and I do this because we in our field we always talk about tools. We talk about a toolbox, and so I'm giving you a physical toolbox.
Literally a toolbox. That's good.
This is your toolbox here, and so in the toolbox you're going to have a gratitude journal. This is going to be for a daily practice. It's prompted, so it's great for parents and young kids or teens to do on their own. But it helps to look at what was positive in my day, what did I learn, really focusing on that growth mindset in sort of what can I take from a challenge. There's going to be coping tools. So we have a fidget object, we have scented dough, we have mindfulness cards, affirmation cards, we have a temperature bag, which we use for emotion regulation, just lots of goodies. There's posters to put up at the house with, again, growth mindset statements, with coping strategies, and to help with emotion recognition. So when I'm feeling this way in my body, what does that mean? What is it telling me? And what can I do about it?
That's really, really neat. Okay. How do people get it? How do people get a hold of you?
Yes. So we have a website, www.skillfulstart.ca. We also have Instagram and Facebook, which will connect you to the website to order. Our Instagram is at skillful.start, and Facebook is as Skillful Start as well. And everything is here locally. All of our artisans that we feature in the box are local. Everything is Canadian made. So it's at home here with me. I put it together and get it to you ASAP.
Awesome. Carling from Skillful Start. Thanks so much for joining us on Brand Life today. And thank you for joining us on Brand Life today. We love talking with interesting people locally about the stuff that's going on in their lives. So if you would like to be a part of Brand Life, go to www.rogerstv.com, click on Brand Life, send us an email, tell us your story, and you can be joining us here. It's what community TV is all about. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.